the greatest foreign movie I have ever seen. My mind is actually blown. Tsotsi. However it's said, it's amazing. Tsotsi tells the story of, well, Tsotsi, who's the leader of a gang. During a normal mugging, a murder is committed which wasn't a part of the plan, leading to Tsotsi beating the crap out of one of his mates, shooting a lady and jacking her car, but unbeknownst to him, there's a baby in the back seat. However, he can't bring himself to ditch the little guy and decides to take him and look after him. The film is then him trying to keep this secret from his friends as he hides from the law and sucks at being a parent. He takes a woman hostage to use her for breast milk, but eventually redeems himself and returns the baby in one piece to face his destiny. It's just amazing at everything. It would end up grossing $11.5 million, winning the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film, and was also nominated for the Best Foreign Film Golden Globe, but was unfortunately unsuccessful. How strange, a movie where a bad man becomes better instead of the other way around. Isn't that most movies? Man, this opening is so badass, it immediately grabs your interest. And the mugging is such a strong opening scene. They do it quietly as he sticks a knife in his gut with everyone around being completely oblivious, and it's so creepy and scary. What the hell can you even do in this situation? Oh, and I should probably mention, the soundtrack is incredible. And when we first see him steal the car, the acting is subtle but so good. You can tell from the get-go that he's not your standard criminal. You can already get the impression that he's more like a scared child running away from something, that he doesn't want to be doing these crimes. And he becomes even more interesting when he actually goes to abandon the baby in the car, but he just can't do it. Rude. Wait, he really couldn't figure out how to take a nappy off? He needed to use a knife? But he's still smart enough to make his own out of newspapers? Oh well, it is quite funny watching him put on some music to try to calm the baby. He really doesn't have a clue. We actually get an entire montage of his suckage as a parent.
Yes, sister. I'm one is a moment. So I don't want you sakai. Osna dairy raton saka.
Such charming friends he has.
Fela le re monate na collocation a kere.
Wa bona gona le batho ba bantsi fale. Go tlhakatlhakane.
Wanneer ons kan nie eers gesteelde karre daar.
Yerland kan tsa le mplela gore gona ntwe le ka etsang. Ke batla gore ngwanaka a tholiwe.
Well, if you answered the gate the first 15 times your wife called, maybe you'd still have him. It's all your fault, really.
Hey! You like the license here, huh?
Oh, burn! Oh, and earlier he insulted Tsotsi for walking in the way, and it was just a complete dick for no reason. But now all of a sudden Tsotsi is threatening him and he's begging for mercy, and we're supposed to feel sorry for him? No. No. Piss off! But it does have an interesting turn when Tsotsi suddenly decides to get to know the guy and asks how he manages to go through life with his handicap. It's a nice little scene with Tsotsi trying to find motivation or just an answer to his inner demons that we'll get onto later. But yeah, he clearly left the baby for like a day. The dumbass must have forgotten about him as he returns home and the poor fella is covered in flies. I've also noticed he's insanely quiet whenever it's convenient to the plot. When he breaks into breastfeeding lady's house, he's completely silent. Oh, and the baby does it again here. Tsotsi talks to his friend with the door wide open. The baby stirs a little bit, but then as soon as it closes, he cries up a storm. And this character just keeps getting better and better. He's kind of like an anti-hero. He's obviously doing wrong things, but you can understand his actions and know that he's just messing up.
David. Come take my we'll walk this road together. Not afraid to take a stand.
And this is where we get a flashback to see that Tsotsi's real name was actually David, and he had an abusive dad who also beat up their dog. I'm out. and he caused him to run away. He even names the baby David after himself and asks the woman about the father of hers. It turns out that the dad was killed, and it's an awesome and subtle moment where Tsotsi feels guilt for what he does on the daily. The character is kind of reliving his childhood through this baby, not wanting to let go, not wanting to lose that affection, not wanting him to go the route that he did. It's beautiful storytelling.
Hayi, mina ngifuna ibhiya. Izamalek.
I love the look on his face there. He is just not amused. And after Tsotsi saves the father's life and kills his own man, the final remaining gang member quits, worried that it's going to be his turn next. The motivation all makes sense, and the acting is incredible on both sides. What the hell is he doing? Dude, now is not the time to be having a shit. You know what? I absolutely adore this character. He's redeeming himself, and this relationship has actually grown quite natural. Again, he's done wrong things, but for the right reasons. Except that. But this woman doesn't really seem to care about her own baby. The entire time she's ignored him and just focused on David instead. The ending is the best part of the film. You know what? I'm not going to spoil it. See it for yourself, but I'll show and describe what I can. Tsotsi takes the baby back, buzzes the house, but before they can show up, he starts to fuss and he innocently tries to comfort him. And that's when the cops and parents show up, so he looks even more guilty, and you're begging for them to realise that it's just a misunderstanding. The dad tells the cops to all lower their weapons as he tries to talk Tsotsi down, and you are truly on the edge of your seat. There's no dialogue for a good length of time, and it's not even needed. Your nerves are on edge, you have a lump in your throat as you watch it, waiting desperately to see what's going to happen, hoping that the baby gets returned and that Tsotsi makes it out okay. Honestly, this is some of the best tension building I have seen in my life. The entire movie is amazing. The character's growth is perfect, the side characters aren't too great except the breastfeeding lady and the father, but the others don't really get a whole lot of breathing room sharing the screen with the main stars. Please watch it for the love of God.